As anticipation builds for the milestone 50th season of Survivor, fans are already buzzing, not just about blindsides, idols, and alliances, but about a hilariously revealing and sometimes downright savage off-island game, a twisted round of Would You Rather. And trust me, when you put some of the most strategic, cutthroat, and legendary players in reality TV history into a room and force them to choose between impossible scenarios, things get very interesting. From betrayals versus loyalty, to survival dilemmas that test both body and soul, this cast proved that even outside the game, their instincts never switch off. Face Mask, a cast built for chaos. Season 50 isn't just another installment, it's shaping up to be a celebration of the franchise's legacy. While the official cast list is still under wraps, insiders hint at a mix of iconic winners, notorious villains, and fan-favorite underdogs returning to battle it out once more. Think players in the mold of Boston Rob Mariano, Parvati Shallow, Tony Vlachis, Sandra Diaz-Twine. Even the idea of personalities like these participating in a psychological game of Would You Rather is enough to send fans into a frenzy. Smile with Horns, the game within the game. The rules were simple. Contestants were presented with two equally brutal or absurd options, and had to pick one. No passing, no negotiating, no idol to save you. But as expected, nothing about this group is ever simple. What started as a lighthearted icebreaker quickly turned into a revealing look at how these players think, prioritize, and, most importantly, survive. Brain brutal question number 1. Loyalty versus survival. Would you rather betray your closest ally at Final 5, or risk going to fire making against the strongest competitor? This one hit hard. Some players, channeling the ruthless energy that made them legends, chose betrayal without hesitation. If you're sitting next to your best friend at the end, you've already lost, one contestant admitted. Others leaned toward loyalty, at least on the surface. Fire making is a gamble. But betraying someone, that sticks forever. It's a debate that echoes some of the most iconic moments in Survivor history, where million-dollar decisions often come down to a single act of trust, or deception. Fire brutal question number 2. Starvation versus strategy. Would you rather have zero food for 5 days, or lose your vote at the next tribal council? Now this is where survival meets strategy. Old school players, used to harsher conditions, mostly chose hunger. I've starved before, I'll do it again, but I'm not giving up my voice in this game. New era players, however, showed a different mindset. Without a vote, you're powerless. Hunger is temporary, losing control isn't. It's a fascinating reflection of how the game has evolved over time, with modern seasons placing a heavier emphasis on twists and advantages. Ballot box with ballot brutal question number 3. Idol power versus social trust. Would you rather find a hidden immunity idol that everyone knows about, or build a secret alliance with zero advantages? This one split the room. Some players craved the tangible security of an idol, even if it painted a target on their back. Others prioritized subtlety. An idol is loud, relationships are quiet, but way more powerful. If there's one thing 50 seasons of Survivor has proven, it's that social capital often outweighs physical advantages. Tears of joy, the funny and awkward side. Not every question was game-related. Some were just designed to stir chaos, and they delivered. Nauseated face gross out challenge. Would you rather eat a live bug, or sleep in the rain without shelter? The reactions were priceless. Bug. No question. Protein is protein. Absolutely not. I'd rather freeze. Grimace social nightmare. Would you rather be the first boot, or make it to the end and get 0 votes? Surprisingly, this one divided players more than any strategic dilemma. First boot is embarrassing, but at least you don't get your hopes crushed. Final tribal with 0 votes. That's brutal. You sat there thinking you had a shot. Snake, the villains speak. Let's be honest, every great season of Survivor needs its villains. And in this game, they thrived. When asked, would you rather lie to everyone all game, or tell the truth and risk being voted out early? The answers were almost unanimous. Lie. Always lie. Truth doesn't win you $1 million. It's this unapologetic mindset that has defined some of the most memorable players in the franchise's history. Puzzle piece: what this reveals about Season 50. If this, would you rather, session is any indication, Season 50 is going to be ruthless. Here's what we can already infer. 1. Strategy will be hyper-aggressive. Players are openly embracing betrayal as a necessary tool, not a last resort. 2. Old school versus new school clash. The divide between survival-focused gameplay and twist-heavy strategy is alive and well. 3. Social game still reigns supreme. Even in hypothetical scenarios, relationships continue to be the deciding factor. Mike the host weighs in. Longtime host Jeff Probst reportedly loved the exercise, calling it a window into how these players think when the pressure is off, which tells you exactly how dangerous they'll be when it's on. And if he thinks it's dangerous, you know we're in for something special. Collision: the most shocking answers. A few responses stood out as particularly jaw-dropping. One player said they'd intentionally lose immunity to lower their threat level. Another admitted they'd throw an ally under the bus before day 3 if it meant survival. And perhaps most shocking, someone said they'd rather quit the game than betray a real-life friend. In a game where deception is currency, that last answer raised more than a few eyebrows. Desert Island: why fans are obsessed. This mini-game has already gone viral among fans, and it's easy to see why. It strips away the editing, the alliances, the advantages, and reveals the raw instincts of players who have mastered one of television's most complex social experiments. And as Survivor approaches its historic 50th season, moments like these remind us why the show continues to captivate audiences worldwide. Crystal ball: what comes next? If the cast is this intense during a casual game of Would You Rather, imagine what they'll do when there's $1 million on the line. Expect brutal blindsides, unexpected alliances, emotional betrayals, and gameplay that pushes the limits of what we thought possible. Trophy: final thoughts. Would You Rather may be a simple game, but in the hands of Survivor legends, it becomes something much more, a psychological battleground. It exposes priorities, it reveals fears, and most importantly, it shows who's willing to do whatever it takes to win. Season 50 isn't just another chapter. It's shaping up to be a war of philosophies, where every decision, no matter how small, could have massive consequences. So buckle up, because if this diabolical preview is anything to go by,